Stop scrolling. What if the version of you that walks into every room and owns it, the one you keep imagining, isn't years away? What if it's 7 habits away? Here's the uncomfortable truth most people never hear. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's not a personality type. It's not luck. Psychologist Albert Bandura spent decades studying what he called self-efficacy, basically, your belief in your own ability to act. And his research may suggest something surprising. That belief doesn't come from thinking positively. It comes from doing things repeatedly, even small things. 7 daily habits. That's it. Not a personality transplant. Not a 5-year plan. And no, you won't hear about journaling or cold showers. These go deeper than that. But before we get into it, I need you to do something right now. Hit that like button, drop a comment, share this with someone who's playing small, and subscribe because this channel is built for people who are ready to actually change. Don't skip any part of this video. Every single point builds on the one before it. Let's go. Number 1. Make your bed. Then make a decision. William H. McRaven, a U.S. Navy admiral, once said, "If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day." Sounds almost too simple, right? But here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. Every time you follow through on a small commitment, especially first thing in the morning, your brain logs it. Quietly, consistently. Over time, your nervous system may begin to recognize you as someone who does what they say they'll do, even when it's just a bed. Then comes the second part most people skip. After you make your bed, make one decision immediately. Doesn't have to be big. What you'll eat, what you'll work on first, what you'll say no to today. The decision itself matters less than the act of deciding. Indecision is one of the quietest confidence killers there is. It trains your brain to doubt itself before the day even begins. Start completing. Start deciding. Watch how the rest of the day shifts. Number 2. Speak before you're ready. Courage is not the absence of fear, Maya Angelou once wrote, but the triumph over it. Most people think confident people don't feel nervous before speaking up. That's simply wrong. What actually separates them is something behavioral psychologists call approach motivation, the tendency to move toward discomfort rather than away from it. Confident people have trained themselves to open their mouths in meetings, ask the question in class, or say their opinion out loud, even when their stomach is doing flips. Here's what happens when you stay silent. Your brain interprets the silence as threat avoided, and it rewards you, briefly, with relief. But it also makes a note. That situation is dangerous. Stay away next time. You become a little smaller every time you choose silence. Speak today. One sentence in a conversation you'd normally let pass. One idea you'd normally keep to yourself. You don't have to be articulate. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. Number 3. Move your body like you mean it. William James, one of the earliest American psychologists, proposed something called the James Lange theory of emotion. In basic terms, your body doesn't just react to how you feel. Your feelings may actually follow what your body does. Think about that for a second. When you walk hunched over, chest caved in, eyes on the floor, your nervous system reads that posture as a signal. Something's wrong. Stay small. Don't be seen. But when you stand tall, breathe full, move with even a little bit of purpose, the body sends a different signal entirely. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need an hour. 10 minutes of deliberate movement. A walk where you keep your chin up, a stretch where you take up actual space, may begin to shift the internal state. This isn't about aesthetics. It's about physiology. Your body has a direct line to your brain, and it's talking all day long. The question is whether you're letting it say something useful. Number 4. Cut one source of comparison daily. Theodore Roosevelt reportedly said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." He wasn't being poetic. He was being accurate. Here's something worth sitting with. Neuroscience research appears to indicate that the brain evaluates our status in relation to others constantly. It's a deeply wired social function. But in the age of social media, that mechanism is hijacked. We're comparing our everyday reality to someone else's most curated moment. That's not comparison. That's an unfair fight. You cannot build confidence while simultaneously consuming a daily diet of "look how far ahead everyone else is." It doesn't work. Not because you're weak, but because the math is rigged. So here's the daily practice. Identify one comparison habit and break it. One account you mindlessly scroll through that makes you feel smaller. One conversation where you start measuring your life against someone else's. Notice it, interrupt it, replace it, even briefly, with something that reflects your own progress. That's the direction confidence actually grows in. Number 5. Do one thing that makes you slightly uncomfortable. A student named Marcus had failed his driving test twice. By the third time, he had convinced himself he simply wasn't capable. His instructor noticed something specific. Marcus would hesitate at every intersection, not because he didn't know what to do, but because he'd built a habit of second-guessing himself right at the moment of action. The instructor told him to drive to that same intersection every morning for a week. Just sit there, then go. No test, no pressure. On his fourth attempt, Marcus passed. Not because he learned new rules, but because the discomfort had become familiar. That's what psychologists sometimes call exposure-based confidence building. The idea that anxiety decreases not when we eliminate the challenge, but when we stop treating it as extraordinary. Your uncomfortable thing today doesn't have to be dramatic. Send the email. Start the conversation. Submit the application. The discomfort is the point, not an obstacle to the point. Number 6. Reflect on what went right. Most people end their day thinking about what went wrong, what they forgot, what they failed, what someone else must think of them. It feels productive. It's actually corrosive. Philosopher and psychologist William James, appearing again because he was that insightful, argued that the direction of attention shapes the direction of character. Where you point your focus repeatedly tends to shape who you become. So here's the practice. At the end of each day, even a difficult one, write down or mentally note 2 things that went right. Not perfectly, just right. A moment you showed up. A conversation that landed well. A choice you made that you're quietly proud of. This isn't about toxic positivity or pretending hard things don't exist. It's about training your attention to notice evidence of your own competence, because that evidence exists, even on your worst days. Confidence is often less about achieving more and more about noticing more of what you've already done. Number 7. Say no to something small every day. Warren Buffett once said something that applies far beyond investing. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. But here's what that actually means for confidence, and it's not about productivity. Every time you say yes when you mean no, something happens internally. You register it. You may not consciously name it, but some part of you notices that your own preferences didn't count. Over time, that pattern, saying yes to avoid discomfort, to please, to keep the peace, trains you to feel like your needs are less important than other people's comfort. Saying no, even to something genuinely small, begins to reverse that pattern. Cancel the optional meeting you dread. Decline the invitation you'd only go to out of obligation. Tell the group chat you're not available tonight. These aren't acts of selfishness. They're acts of self-authorship. And confidence, at its core, is the felt sense that you are the author of your own life, not just a character in everyone else's story. Start small. Say no once today, then notice how you feel. 7 habits. No overnight miracles. No personality transplants. Just small, consistent acts that may, over time, shift something real inside you. Make your bed and make a decision. Speak before you feel ready. Move your body with intention. Break one comparison habit. Do something that makes you slightly uncomfortable. Reflect on what went right. Say no to something small. Psychologist Carl Rogers once wrote that confidence comes not from always being right, but from not fearing being wrong. That's the destination these habits are pointing toward. Not perfection, not fearlessness, just a quiet, earned belief in your own ability to handle what comes next. Here's the thing nobody tells beginners. Confidence isn't the starting point. It's the result of showing up, imperfectly, consistently, anyway. So if you made it to the end of this video, you're already the kind of person who takes this seriously. Don't stop here. Like this video if any of this landed for you. Share it with someone who's been playing it safe for too long. Comment your biggest takeaway below. Seriously, reading your responses is the best part of making this. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel because this is just the beginning of what we're building here. You've got this. Not someday. Starting today.